Even the governor's sexually groping people.
That's
even
Italian,
your governor.
bro. That is being Italian, Joe. You're disrespecting
Isn't that
Italian
an amazing
culture.
excuse?
Yeah, it's the greatest excuse ever.
Amazing.
All right, so with Andrew Cuomo resigning from office of the New York governor for sexual harassment, I thought it would be a good idea to talk to you guys about a hostile work environment, which quite obviously Andrew Cuomo provided for his employees through sexual harassment, which can constitute a hostile work environment. So in order to have a hostile work environment, there's three main elements that you need to satisfy. One, the behavior has to be severe. Two, it has to be pervasive. And three, it has to be unwelcome. So we'll break it down step by step. One, severity. This is really where you can make your argument. Severity can be anywhere from a minor comment that is constantly done multiple times a day, every day, for a sufficient amount of time, and it would be considered to be offensive to a reasonable person. So if a reasonable person would find that conduct offensive, then you might have a claim for a hostile work environment. Or, on the flip side, it could be just one comment that is sufficiently severe that a reasonable person would be really offended by it. For instance, a racial slur. A racial slur could be considered a hostile, sufficiently severe to be a hostile work environment. Two, let's talk about pervasive a little bit. What makes a claim pervasive? What makes behavior pervasive is that it was done for a sufficiently long period of time, or balanced out with the severity. So the severity and the pervasiveness is kind of a balancing act that has to be performed, and your lawyer will make that argument for you. Three, it has to be unwelcome. So it can't be like, oh, I'm joking with my buddy, and then my buddy just took it too far. The conduct has to be unwelcome, and in most states, the majority rule is that you should tell your supervisor, you should tell the management, you should tell somebody above whoever it is that is conducting that behavior that is offensive. And if the management or the people at the top don't do anything about that, you're probably going to have a claim for a hostile work environment. So in the case of Andrew Cuomo, there was apparently severe, pervasive, and unwelcome sexual harassment. How was it severe? I believe one of the allegations was that he stuck his hand up a female employee's blouse. That's definitely severe. I think another one was that he kissed her on the cheek. That could definitely be severe as well. Now, where the defense might make its case is that the behavior was welcomed. Going to be a little bit hard with the blouse touching, but maybe the cheek kissing, for instance, if Cuomo and this employee constantly were hugging and kissing on the cheek, and they had a relationship like that, and she didn't make any mention of it to anybody else within the organization, then the defense might have a good case. I don't think that's the case, but it might be, and that's going to be for Cuomo's lawyers to kind of play with. In terms of the pervasiveness of Cuomo's behavior, apparently it's been going on the entire time he's been in office, and that would certainly count as sufficiently pervasive. And again, the unwelcome requirement, it's highly unlikely that the employee asked him or welcomed him to reach inside her blouse. So, you know, his legal team has a tough task ahead of them. What should you do if you think you might be subject to a hostile work environment? Well, the first thing you got to do, collect evidence. You need to be very mindful of the witnesses that are going to be there, who might be available to testify should this need to go to trial, should this need to be taken to court, a complaint to be written, and to be argued in front of a judge. Who might be there to be able to testify on your behalf? The other thing that you can do is journal. You need to gather as much evidence as you can. And one of the best ways to do that is write it down. Make a note of it. Sign the date. Maybe put a little signature next to it. That is admissible evidence in a court of law most of the time. So that's a really good way that you can protect yourself. And the third thing is know the laws, know your rights. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the law, hear a little bit more about the news that's going on, legal related news, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Bye.